Welcome and thank you so much for joining us today for the Professionals Invest USA Network webinar. We are going to go ahead and get started right on time today. I will let you know just a few quick details here as we get going. My name is Megan Hartman. I am with the Professionals Invest Network, and I will be hosting today. We'll also be hearing from some other important people as we move along. But as you can see from the getting started screen here, we will have all phones and speakers muted during the presentation so that we don't run the risk of any background noise. We have set time aside for questions and answers at the end of the presentation, but please do feel free to ask questions as we move along using the chat button in the lower right hand of the panel on your computer. If you're experiencing any technical difficulties, please communicate with us that way as well. Also, for your information, this presentation is being recorded and it will be available to you after the call. Please feel free to communicate with me directly. And again, I'm Megan Hartman, or please feel free to communicate with whoever may have invited you to join the webinar today. This is just a quick reference for you. If you're not familiar with GoToWebinar, this is what the chat box looks like, and this is how you can communicate with us. And if you can't find the chat box, look for that red arrow in the upper right hand of your screen, and that's going to help you see that drop down. So let's go ahead and get into the real reason that we're all here today. Today's webinar is designed to help you learn more about the Professionals Invest Network and why now is a great time to invest in cash flowing properties. Not only are we going to tell you about how our network works with turnkey investment property providers, but we're also featuring one of the areas that we have properties in that allows you to buy with equity today, and they're already showing significant cash flow that does not depend on future market conditions. And so before we jump into the specifics of that market, I do want to introduce Mark Vost, who is the head of North American operations for Professionals Network.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you, Megan. Just real quickly, quick background on Professionals, and I won't take very long, but Professionals, as you can see there, started in Australia over 30 years ago and entered the North American market last year. And their brand in Australia, and I shouldn't just say Australia, it's Australia, New Zealand, New Guinea, a number of other places in Australasia. What you would call a typical retail real estate brokerage franchise that actually operated as a membership network down there, came to the United States and started offering general franchises. The brand is a very well-known, high reputation brand in Australia. And so the idea of coming here was originally to bring that same level to retail brokerages. Well, through a industry friend came to us and said, "Do you know that Australians are buying U.S. investment property? It's not like you've got to go create a new market. They are, and with your offices down under, you have a natural distribution system. If you can piece together turnkey investors that that come to if you can take and put together a network of turnkey investment property providers to supply those investors from Australia with the properties." Well, that got us really going, and it was the creation of the Professionals Invest Network, because we put together a network of highly reputable property providers who have to subscribe to and agree to adhere to contractually a series of standards, including things such as transparency, level of performance, disclosure, both financial and what repairs or refurbishments have been done to their properties, in order to be part of our network. Those providers then become a franchisee of Professionals and actually, again, under contractual requirements to perform. One of the keys we've put together in our network is that property management is really key to you as an investor. In other words, you've bought the property, it's great, it's been refurbished, there's a tenant in there today, you've bought, but what about the property management? Perhaps you're in California, perhaps you're in Australia, perhaps you're in New York, and the property is in a different state. Relying on the property manager and property management is a critical success factor to you as the investor. And what we've figured out is this also critical to us, the performance of those of the property management. Therefore, one of our requirements is that our providers of the investment property are also the providers of the property management services. That way, they have a vested interest in ensuring your success. So, again, if you're looking at some real assets, that is brick and mortar homes you can go buy, you can see if you want to, with real gains in a transparent and seamless process, that is what professionals has tried to bring to the marketplace.
And related to the transparent and seamless process, we've actually created what we call the pathway to successful investing. And the idea behind that is that we are with you every step of the way, from helping you to identify the best opportunities for you based on your goals and risk tolerance, through getting you access to high quality, vetted legal, tax, and banking professionals, through to purchasing a property and doing your due diligence, all the way through the closing process with ongoing reporting and contact from the Professionals Invest Network to support you if you choose to invest in additional investment properties in the future. So we really are with you from start to finish, and keep that relationship going. So, this is a quote from Warren Buffett that you may have seen before. It's certainly gotten a lot of attention over approximately the past year. And the importance of this quote from Warren Buffett is that purchasing a tangible asset in a landlord friendly time when rent increases are happening in many parts of the country is a good investment. In fact, he feels that properties held over a long period of time at low rates are an even better investment than the stock market right now. In addition to Warren Buffett's observations, I've also very recently, this article is only about 2 to 3 weeks old, but this article is coming from Blackstone, which is the largest buyer of single family properties in the country right now. So the big boys are still seeing a 2 year window for investors to buy properties before rising prices and shrinking inventory make it difficult to find good deals. When I say the big boys, Blackstone has purchased $1.5 billion worth of inventory just this year and intends to keep on buying. Their take is that buying a home today is a pretty compelling proposition. So that's a big reason why we're doing this webinar, why we want you to have access to this information, so that if you choose to move forward into the investor space, you've got a credible, reputable platform and network of individuals to do that with. You certainly don't need to do anything tomorrow, but if you are planning on investing, you probably want to think about doing something sooner rather than later. And so, with that, we want to feature our one of our investment property providers, which is Sean Whalen, who's the president of BH&R Properties, and with him is Wayne Conway, who's his marketing director of BH&R Properties. They are going to talk to us about investment properties that you can buy with instant equity. You will also see actual properties that are available for purchase today. And they are, of course, part of the Professionals Invest Network. And the properties that you will be seeing are in Cleveland. And they'll tell you a little bit more about that area, as well as, again, you will see pictures and returns and prices of specific properties during this presentation. Of course, we do have investment property providers in other parts of the United States, and um, we will be happy to provide more information if you are interested in learning more about some of those other areas. But we're really excited to be able to feature Cleveland today as one of the best cash flowing regions in the country. So with that, Sean and Wayne, take it away.
All right, thanks, Megan. Appreciate that. We're going to bear with me a little bit. We are kind of sharing screens, so there may be a little lag with flipping slides, but I appreciate everybody's time. My name's Wayne Conway, and Sean Whalen is sitting right next to me here. And also bear with us. It's 10:30 and a quarter to 11 in the evening. So if we're a little slap happy, that's why. But Sean, here, you wanna?
Yeah, we're not drunk. We're just it's just late here, so yeah, please bear with us. Basically, it's fairly important when you're looking for, property providers that they have, many years of experience. You just learn so much being in the business for so long. What to do, what to look for, and more importantly, what not to do. And basically, I have been in real estate my whole adult life. Currently 43 years old, and I literally started right out of high school. Rehabbing houses one at a time. I'd live in a house, and I'd gut it and fix it up. Take me a couple of years, and then I'd sell it and move on. And so real estate's been pretty good to me. Um, and I only buy in Cleveland. I don't have any properties outside of Cleveland, or I should say outside of Northeastern Ohio, because this is the area we know best. We have relationships with a lot of attorneys, asset managers, realtors, etc. So that's why it's important to us that we're not buying in 20 different markets. We're only concentrating on the Cleveland area because that is the market we know best. And our approach to buying is fairly conservative. We only buy in predominantly owner occupied areas. We're trying to stay out of areas that people have to live in. We'd rather buy in an area that people want to live in. It's a big difference, and it can't be overlooked. So we also, and this is a really important point, is that every city that we purchase in requires what's called a point of sale inspection. So when we purchase a house, say for instance, just to give an example, the house is $30,000. When we go to sign to purchase that house, the city will give us a list of repairs that are necessary, that we have to assume in order to purchase that house. If we do not assume those violations, those repairs, we cannot purchase that house. Moreover than that, we have to put it in a significant amount of monies with the city in escrow to purchase that house. So if I'm paying $30,000 for a home, the city will come back and say, okay, it's going to cost $30,000 to repair this house. So you're tying up a considerable amount of money. We do not get that additional $30,000 that we tied up with the city back until we finish the inspection. So what that does, it really keeps the neighborhoods, very well maintained, keeps property values up. I mean, you cannot drive down any street in any of the cities that we purchase in and see one board on the window. They're pretty much non-existent. If you buy a house in these areas, you're going to want to get your escrow money back as quickly as possible, so the houses are renovated relatively quickly. More than that, all our properties are completely rehabbed. They all have brand new mechanicals. So one thing we're not doing is just putting paint and carpet on the walls and calling it a day. We're actually getting into the bones of the house. What's most important in fixing those items, such as a furnace or a hot water tank or the roof. So all our properties are, we sell all our properties wholesale, meaning they all have instant equity in them. As you'll see, Wayne will go through a couple slides and very soon here, and he'll show you actual sales in the exact area that have been rehabbed to the condition of ours that sold for much more money. And also, again, I think Mark touched on this, is that we have our own property management company all in-house. We don't sub it out to our cousin Joe, who knows absolutely nothing about property management, and call it a day. Actually, I believe that's where our relationship starts. Once you purchase a house with us, it's our job to oversee your investment and hopefully do a good job. and in turn you're gonna, buy more homes from us or tell your friends to do the same. And again, property management really, I think, begins where you purchase a home. If you're buying where, people really do want to live and it's predominantly owner occupied, you're going to get a better class of client, and it's a lot less headache from a management perspective. You can be the best management company in the world, but if you're buying in these really um, inner city, pretty rough areas, it doesn't matter. You're going to have nothing but headaches. And we believe in, and again, true transparency. Um, when you buy a house from us, all our numbers are there. We're not trying to hide any figures from anyone. If there's repairs on a house, so you close the house and there's repairs or bills, they're all scanned in our management software provided, through your portal. So basically, the owner they have their own login to our management software, and they can pull up any bill, statement, anything they need. So it's true transparency.
Okay, great. And, really, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Cleveland. Really, we've transitioned from, years and years ago, we were, a steel and manufacturing town, but we've really transitioned ourselves to more of a medical-based economy, where we do have the fastest growing healthcare economy in the U.S. We also are home to the Medical Mart, which is essentially a brand new convention center specifically designed to market and display medical device healthcare equipment. And there's also the region's undergoing over $11 billion in major capital investment, and most of that is private investment. So there's a lot of stuff going on in Cleveland, Ohio, that you really never know unless you ever came here to visit or really looked at it. We're also home to over 27 area colleges and universities. So again, it's a very dynamic, it's a vibrant city that really is kind of turned the corner on that manufacturing, and while there is still a good amount of high-tech manufacturing, we really transitioned our new economy, and there's a lot of exciting things going on in Cleveland. But really, what you guys came here to learn about, and what we want to share with you is really the opportunity to purchase with homes with income, or with built-in equity. And essentially, hey, it's pretty straightforward. What does that mean? You're buying a house at wholesale versus true market value. I mean, that's pretty simple. It provides you a built-in exit strategy, whether it's a long-term or short-term. You have that equity up front, and you're hedging against any possible downturn or a flat housing market. And really, where we're advocating in Cleveland, it's also we're built-in cash flow on top of that equity. So really, you're getting that cash flow and you're getting that built-in equity. It's a really compelling reason to consider Cleveland. And just in general, and Megan hit on this a little bit, essentially, hey, over the last couple of years, there was a lot of opportunity out there to buy discounted single-family homes. However, the article she indicated, as well as, the article in the LA Times, which basically spelled out, hey, deals on foreclosed homes are dwindling. There's just a handful of markets left that there's still some significant discounts available. And then also, hey, the supply of these discounted homes are drying up. Mortgage delinquency continues to fall, and home prices are creeping up. So we are part of a the good news is we're part of a recovery here. So however, there's still opportunity available in some markets. Here's just a chart that indicated from Zillow and the Washington Post, and essentially what this is just showing is discount off of true market value. So Pittsburgh, you're still able to purchase essentially with a 27.5% discount. Cleveland, we're almost 26%. Cincinnati, and then Baltimore, and then everybody else kind of levels off. So there's still a few markets. Most of you, I think, are out in California. So San Diego, there's very little discount available. Sacramento is all but gone. Vegas and Phoenix, it's dried up. So in San Francisco, there's a little bit, but again, there's not as much as we were used to seeing the last couple of years. So with that said, what kind of market conditions need to exist? And we mentioned, hey, the discount, there's the supply of discounted single family homes. Obviously, it's making homes, are they affordable for the investor? And are you able to get into that and then generate a cash flow? Is it priced where you can actually see some return on a cash flow coming in, or is it all going towards debt? And then obviously factoring into this is just in general, any kind of, if you're looking at any market, you want to make sure that the home prices are stable, whether the areas you're buying in are good areas, whether they're poised for appreciation, or whether you're, really where do you want to buy? And then when you're buying, hey, are you looking at it? Are you going to be able to, are you competing with others as far as on an investment side? And then also, hey, what type of tenants do you want to find? As Sean hit on, we choose to buy in areas where people want to live and not necessarily where people have to live. And then this is more just in general, some kind of some general criteria. Hey, if you're purchasing out of market, things to consider. Obviously, being in California, unless you have someone living in Cleveland and you have crews available, you're going to want to consider, hey, what's the cost to rehab a property? And then it gets into just knowing the market. Are you buying in the right area? Is that area, can you find a tenant there? And then also, hey, who's going to manage that property moving forward? So essentially, hey, yeah, you could go out and say, hey, I want to look in Cleveland and Pittsburgh. I want to buy a property and find a tenant, and I'll find someone to manage it. We're saying, hey, kind of take a look at, consider using a property provider. Let us do the hard work. You just kind of, take advantage of the opportunity that's presented in front of you. And here's just in general some market conditions here in Cleveland. I mentioned, it is very affordable. The average home price about $110,000. The majority of our inventory is kind of in that $55,000 to $70,000 range, and we typically price our homes anywhere with between 15 and 45+% equity. So there's significant equity in there. We mentioned the supply is there. We mentioned that, in the demand that, hey, we are able to source, properties where a lot of people can't. We are buying in areas that are, that point of sale inspection is a great tool that keeps a lot of our competitors, and they're more mom and pop guys out there with a pickup truck wanting to buy, distressed property and then flip it. Well, hey, if you're all of a sudden having to put additional monies into escrow, it kind of keeps some of our competition out of these desirable areas. And then the desirable areas meaning, hey, we can find, we can invest and buy in areas that are building brand new schools, are building, are good neighborhoods where people want to live versus, just within the city that, hey, we're needing to turn to Section 8 or government assisted housing or tenants to fill our properties. We kind of mentioned this, hey, really, we're able to leverage, and Sean's been in the business 20-some years, his relationship with the asset managers, the real estate professionals, the probate attorneys. We're able to find, kind of those properties before they go on to the open market. We kind of get first dibs at it. So we're really able to get the cream of the crop in specific areas, and then we're able to, do the work to the properties, not just carpet and paint. We're doing, brand new mechanicals, new roof if it needs it, new furnace, everything like that. And then, hey, we're not greedy. We're making these properties available to at wholesale to our investors. We realize Cleveland, one of the big draws is it's a very stable market, and we can't rely on future value and appreciation as a way to draw in investors to come in and buy in Cleveland. We need to, hey, we're able to deliver on cash flow, and we're able to deliver an additional return and a built-in exit strategy just based on, hey, being able to price it with some equity in that property. And then I'm going to just run through a number of these properties that we kind of mentioned. I can make available. We can give you a current list of properties, but I just want to show you, hey, these are good houses. It's not in a war zone. These are good B-class neighborhoods with good schools. 20591 Wilmore. It's in the city of Euclid, so it's a suburb of Cleveland. A 3-bedroom, 1-bath, priced at $58,000. Has a brand new, it's hardwood, refinished hardwood floors, new kitchen, new furnace, new hot water tank, new siding on that, flooring, electric. It's on a double lot. And on the next slide here, we'll give you an idea of what some of the prices in the area are. Here's a house on the same street. Sold a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, so a smaller house on that same street, sold for $70,000 within the last 6 months. And then there's additional 72,000, 104,000 just in this general area. So again, you're looking at minimally 20% equity in this property, just right out of the gate, and it's in phenomenal shape. It's in a good area. The next property, Goller. This is probably if I had if I was suggesting someone take advantage of a great property, it would be Goller. It's a 4-bedroom, 1.5-bath. I actually the rent isn't correct on this. We're actually it's an additional $300 in rent, so your returns are about 13.1. So I've got to update that. But it has a brand new roof, new furnace, new hot water tank, new paint, electrical, plumbing. I mean, you can take a look at the house is in great shape. It's in Euclid, again, a very good community, building brand new schools. And if you kind of take a look at it, it's priced at $56,000. There's homes for sale on the street. It's only a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house, sold for $63,500, and then there's $69,722. So again, you're looking at 13.5% equity. I base this equity number based on the lowest recent comp in the area. So realistically, if we listed this house on the MLS, we would list it at $75,000. So again, it's a great value, a fantastic house, good neighborhood, a ton of equity built in at a price point of $56,000. The next one in Suffolk, it's in South Euclid. It's the next kind of community over. It's a 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath, in $66,000. It has a new roof, new furnace, hot water tank, paint, electrical, plumbing, and flooring. So it's also it's in a great area. South Euclid, Lyndhurst schools are very good schools. And look at some of the again, here's our property. Here's another house on Suffolk, sold for $121. Ours is listed at $66. Granted, with full disclosure, it's a 4-bedroom, 1.5-bath. It's sold for that, and I think didn't have granite countertops was the only difference. So ours doesn't have it has stainless steel appliances and granite countertops, but I think with with a $50,000 in equity, you could probably upgrade that stainless and the and put in some nice countertops, and you would be pretty close there. So again, these other homes in the general area, again, these are real numbers. This is it's a great opportunity. All of these houses are leased. They're tenant in place, by the way, as well. The next property, 327 East 214th in Euclid. It's a 4-bedroom, 1.5-bath. It's got this real nice enclosed porch, and as well. It's again in a great area. We're putting a new roof. This is an old photo. We'll have a new roof. Has new electrical, new flooring, paint, furnace. Again, new furnace, new hot water tank, all new mechanicals. We have it priced at $65,000. And again, you kind of take a look at some of these area comps. Nearby. Here's our property here. The 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, all over $100,000 is where these are selling for. So again, at $65,000, you're looking at minimally 40-45% equity into this home. It's a great area. It's near a park. Again, Euclid with the brand new schools. It's near the lake. Lake Erie. You get a so it's a great area. We're able to find good good families to move in, good stable. It's a great house, great area, great investment. And then here's a couple that just to kind of show that, hey, it's not just us talking. We're actually, these properties are moving. For instance, Winston, it's in South Euclid, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, priced at $66,000. It was sold recently. It closed recently, right? It's
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago it closed. So just to kind of give you an idea, they bought 28% equity. There's, here are 3 houses on that exact same street, all on Winston, 84,005, 95, 99.9. Again, all 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. We have it priced and sold at 66,000. So again, there's great opportunities. We've got houses, priced wholesale. It's something to take advantage of. There's some good deals out there. The next house I want to talk about, this one also closed. This is kind of, I guess it goes to show that, the kind of the work that we put into these houses and the areas that we're buying in, there is a demand for it. So here, here's one of our more expensive houses. We had it listed at $85,000 wholesale. We actually put it on the MLS. Our agent said, hey, I could sell this. It was under contract within 3 days. We put it under 3 days. We could have gotten more. We left money on the table. But again, a 5-bedroom, 3-bath in the city of Bedford. It's a beautiful house, completely redone. Has a real nice dormer off the back. So again, with it, if you would have purchased on a wholesale level, $85,000. 3 days later it sold for $95,000. And then here's some recent comps. A 4-bedroom, 1.5 for $108,000. 4-bedroom, 1.5 in the area for around $100,000. So again, a good opportunity for an investor. Some family, our real estate agent that we work with, she sold it in 3 days. Next, ultimately what we're trying to communicate is we provide the opportunity to own a turnkey investment property with significant equity built in one of the best cash flow regions in the country. So hopefully some of our examples kind of led you to see that there's some real value in there, and to consider cash flow property as something worth adding to your real estate portfolio. So, and I think I'll turn it back to Megan at this point.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Sean and Wayne. And of course, thank you to everybody who joined us today. We hope you enjoyed learning more about the Professionals Invest Network and why now is a great time to invest in cash flowing properties. As we said, our network of turnkey investment property providers is nationwide. Of course, we featured Cleveland today, and that has properties with instant equity, and they are already showing significant cash flow that does not depend on future market conditions. And I feel that I can't stress that enough. So if you do have some interest, please reach out to us. We do, of course, have other investment property providers in other parts of the country. So if you're looking for more information on what you saw today or other opportunities, please reach out to myself. I'm Megan Hartman. My email is right there, as well as my phone number, or you can also reach out to Anna Corgett. Or I know a number of people who have joined us today were invited to this webinar through some other source, perhaps Mark Vost or Chuck Rucker, or possibly somebody else. And so if you've already heard from those folks, or they were the ones that invited you, please do feel free to reach out directly to them to get more information. And so I do at this point want to turn it over to questions. So if people do have questions, please feel free to type that into the chat section. Again, that is in the lower right-hand portion of your screen. And I do see, I've got one question coming through right now. And so, Sean, what is included in the net cap rate?
Basically, that's going to be included in that is your vacancy rate, your lease up fee, a maintenance fee, or a maintenance reserve, I should say.
Management
Management
taxes
fee and taxes,
Insurance. Yeah. So
That's
pretty much it. Yeah. That's we try to include all expenses in those.
So basically, that's net, net, net. That's pretty much anything that an investor is likely to face looking at owning a rental property. Is that correct?
Yeah, it shouldn't be really much more than that. I mean, considering that the mechanicals are going to be again all brand new, and they do come with the warranty. We offer warranty of a year on any work we do. Plus, you have a manufacturer's warranty on the hot water tank and furnace as well. So, as far as your maintenance costs should be very low. So yeah, I mean that's all your expenses.
Fantastic. We've got another question here. Is there foreign national financing available? And if so, what rates or terms?
I wish. We have not found any. Most of our buyers are coming in with cash, whether they're refinancing their homes in Australia or New Zealand, but they're basically coming here with cash.
Another question that just came through. So, what motivates you to sell properties under market value? Why not put these properties on the MLS and earn the extra 10, 20, 50% equity yourself?
Well, I'd rather build long-term relationships, really. I mean, if you look at it just the sheer business perspective, a lot of my clients are repeat customers, so it works well instead of putting them on the market and getting 10, even more um, back. I think just from a business perspective, it's better for me to build my how I should brand or build relationships where investors, if they're earning money each and every month, they're going to want to buy more homes from us, and that's really what I want to accomplish. I want to be in this for the long haul, for the next I hope I can pass the business on to my children, so that's why.
That's great, Sean. Another question that just came through, is Ohio or Cleveland a landlord-friendly area?
It is actually. It's a lot different than California, for instance. Typically, what happens if a tenant's not paying rent, you give them a 30-day notice. If you want to evict for any other reason, you have to give them a 30-day notice to evict. So say we give a tenant a 3-day notice, we have 7 days from that 3-day notice that's given. So if it's given on the 5th of the month, give an additional 7 days that then you can go to file it at the courthouse. It then takes an additional 2 weeks to schedule the court. So after you schedule the court, you have 14 days, which is actually pretty fast from the court. From that initial court date, you have 14 days that the tenant has to move, or the sheriffs will evict, personally evict those tenants. So it's actually a fairly quick process. But even at that, you're going to lose 2 months because you still have to go in there and clean the property and whatnot. So you're losing 2 months worth of rent for sure.
Sure. Well, for those of our friends from California, though, that are on the call today, that probably sounds like a pretty breezy process compared to what some other parts of the country are like when it comes to getting a non-paying tenant out of the home.
Yeah, that's my understanding. I guess California, for instance, is horrible as far as evicting tenants, but it's pretty landlord friendly in Ohio. At least Cuyahoga County, it is.
Great. Another question for you all. Do you have foreclosed or REO properties for flip and quicker profit?
Mm, no. Basically, what we do is we buy those homes, fix them up, and then sell them to investors. So, um,
Perfect. So your strategy is really more buy and hold and gain that long-term cash flow income as opposed to trying to turn it around quickly for profit.
yes.
Great. Wonderful. And then I do see one last question here, unless anybody else wants to go ahead and ask some additional questions. Can I see your properties on the MLS?
No, we actually have all our properties listed on the website. We do list them for rent on the MLS though. So yeah, you could for rent, but not for sale.
Okay,
Wayne
great.
has everything listed
Yeah,
through our
it's
website.
on buyholdrent.com. Should have should have everything up to date on the site.
Okay, perfect. Wonderful. Well, certainly, if anybody has any other questions that occur to them after this presentation, again, please do feel free to reach out to me. I'm Megan Hartman, or reach out to the person who invited you to attend this webinar today. We can easily get you all in touch with Sean and Wayne, and especially if you'd like to see some additional specific properties that might suit what you're looking for. But again, thank you so much for attending. And Sean and Wayne, thank you so much for taking the time, especially this late in the day, for you all to share this information and inform us further on the opportunities that Cleveland has to offer.
Oh, you're welcome, Megan. Hey, real quick, we just wanted to throw in, we forgot to mention, if anybody, just on our site, we have single family properties. We do have larger opportunities available if anybody's interested in those. Those aren't listed on the site. There are some opportunities here. So we do joint venture as well as make, multi-tenant properties available as well, but they're just not on the site, and we didn't cover them this evening. So just wanted to throw that in.
Fantastic. That's great to know.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. And thank you again to everybody who attended today. Have a great evening.
Thanks, Megan.
All right. Thanks.